Hi guys, it's the Chevy man back again for the next episode. Like I mentioned to you when I put the brake booster on the offset booster bracket, I'm going to change my rocket covers, the valve covers to these new style type rocket covers that you put your coil packs underneath, and they look like a treat. Look at that, like the old script. Bring it back to a little bit of the originality of the engine sort of top. I went for the red because it matched the red, normally Chevy orange, but I went for red to match me black and red sort of theme I've got going through the car, you see. And these look superb, you know, they really make a nice job out of them. They're made by Holley. I bought them from Summit, and I bought a gasket too. They said that you could use the original gasket there because these gaskets, you could use them time after time, but I thought I'd buy a new gasket because I've had them off before because of the valve springs that I replaced when I changed my cam and everything. So you know, once it's off once, you think a couple of times won't hurt. But that's what we've got for you, and we'll show you how to install these covers. I'll be learning myself, and as we go along, hopefully it all runs smoothly. Well, here we are again. We're going to start. I've taken out my brake booster and master cylinder and everything in the brackets to get painted, and I am going to change the booster and the master cylinder to a 1 inch and an 8 inch brake booster. That's going to go back in later. I did do it in my last episode, but I thought I'd do the rocket covers right now while I've got all this room here, so I could work on it. And then when I've got the rocket covers on, I know my clearances, so when I put my 8 inch booster, I'll know that it's plenty of room from the rocket cover and all the lines are done properly, and I'll redirect all my lines. So it's actually handy to have all that booster and master cylinder off. So I will start taking these off, just taking all the plastic covers off, and I'll remove that. And now we're going to disconnect the fuel line, have to move my cable, and the power packs, the coil packs, I should say, coil packs. Is that where that went? I was wondering where that went. Sitting underneath there. And we'll just disconnect everything and get the rocket cover off on this side. We'll do this side first before we attack that side, and see how it goes. Just disconnect the loom there, just unplug that. You unscrew the fuel line, that's out of the way, and I've undone most of the bolts, and I'll take the whole rail off, all the coil packs off at once. Take them all off at once, so you don't have to do them individually. You can do that on the bench. And there's your coil packs all together. Yep, makes life easier. And there she is. Now we're going to start taking off the rock cover. Just doing the last bolts. Okay, I've undone 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts and the breather. Now all we have to do is just lift the cover off, and there you see your rocker gear. There you go. That's the next stage. The rocker gear is there. The valve gear looks nice and clean. That makes a difference when you use good oil, HPR 10 Penrite, and keeps the engine clean. It hasn't done a lot of miles or kilometres, this engine, so it looks good. Just having a coffee break at the moment. Yeah, we're going to put now these new gaskets on from Felpro. They're what you supply from Felpro. You could have used the original ones off the original covers, but I've had them off before. I thought I'd put new ones on. They're pretty good. I'll fit it on nicely. Just start with your bends and work your way around and tighten them right down. It sits in a nice little slot. Now the bolts itself, I didn't replace the rubbers, grommets, because they look in good shape. You know, they were just in the original ones there. Actually, they were quite easy. I used my winder spanner on it, tool, I call it the winder tool, and I just got underneath them like that, and just and wiggled it out and popped them out without putting pressure on this other end, which could split. You see the bottom of the rubbers, you know, they do split if you pull them right out, if they're brittle. But I managed to just use that tool just to get it underneath it like that, and it just wobbled it out a bit and just came out from the original rocker covers, and the rubbers are still in good shape. You know, it's surprising enough, again, you know, you buy these very expensive rocker covers. In Australia, these rocker covers are just under $900 landed from Summit, but I believe they're half the price over in the US. But you would expect to have gaskets and the grommets brand new, wouldn't you? Yeah, we'll just tighten them up, and yeah, she's nearly on. Got the last one to go, and it's starting to look good. Make sure that you're nice and square. Everything's nice and square. They recommend these bolts to be tightened up at 9 pounds. Yeah, you don't want them too tight, otherwise you might crush them. Those grommets, you see. Let's just bring them up tight, you know, just there, and make sure it's nice and square. And the gasket hasn't moved. Normally they sit inside their little slot, they won't move. And it's getting there, slowly. Don't forget to put the oil pack over the top of the cup, this oil filler. There's a problem because every time you got to change your oil, the coil pack's going to be over the front of it. You've got to lift your coil pack to the side to change your oil. But it's a thing that you need to do for a custom. Looks like it's on tight. We'll don't forget to put that plug in first before you put the coil packs on. Here's the last of the coil packs to go on. They give you this spacer and new bolts at least to put underneath them, clear the base, and just slip it, bolt underneath that, and your spacer underneath that, and basically that's it. It's the last of the coil packs, and yeah, that's the problem. You've got to loosen this one all the time when you're going to put oil in the motor. But it's only 2 bolts, I guess, and that's it. Coil packs are on. Well, I've plugged in the wires now, or they've been plugged in, and so that's all working. A bit of modification here. See that my accelerator cable? It won't go if I bring it right around the air cleaner, the rocker cover. It'll be too tight and it will have a lot of wear. It's really a nest piece in the same sort. So I'm going to come through. It's a bit of a custom thing, and out and through the same hole where the cable is, so it goes around like that. To keep that in the straightest line as possible, because otherwise they'll just it'll grab, you know. And what else we got? We're going to change the vacuum over here as well. We have to change the fuel line direction, so we've got a bit of modification. But my main problem was here, right here. This firewall is in the way for the covers. It hits right there, and it's a strengthening part. I can't dent it or anything, so now I'm going to have to cut the rocker covers, and that was a sad source to see. I had to cut into, look at that, oh my god, it was yeah, terrible. Expensive rocker covers, but they're the only ones I could bring the accelerator cable through, and missed the firewall. Brand new covers, disastrous. Well, that's what you're going to do for custom cars always, but not at that expense. Well, these covers Looked beautiful, but what an ugly sight I had to do. Butcher them around the back of it. Look at that. Can't believe it. That's what I had to cut out to fit the firewall and the accelerator cable through, and everything's so close. What can you do? But it looks okay. We'll soon see. I'll put it on now. Yeah, well, got the last bit on it, and rocker cover is on. Wrong. And push the plugs in. Push the plugs in, and they're on. About a mil, maybe 2 clearance at the back. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not much room there, but yeah, we had to make that cut out. It worked out fine, and you can't see it. So they look great. I reckon they look quite good. I'm gonna, and then me accelerator cable comes through here and goes straight through. Instead of trying to bend that S-bend around there, would have been very, very tight. But next stage is the other side, and then I'll get my brake booster all on, and I'll fit out all the new direction of my fuel line, and hopefully it all goes out smoothly. Let's go for the other side now, but it's the same as this side, but I think I've got more cutting to do, unfortunately. Yeah, so the other side's put on now, and look how much I have to cut off. Wow, that's how much I have to cut off. That much in the back, and that was the other side. But it all looks good, you don't notice it, and it all fits nicely. So what we're going to work on now is putting my brakes all back together again, and I'll work on the covers. See what sort of covers I can do to cover these fuel rails. Just doing a bit of thinking here. Will I utilise these covers? I don't know, just to cover over the fuel rail. I've just run a line right across there where I think that should go right across there. And I'm going to cut right straight through there, see what happens. Bit of cutting, less than more, and go a bit at a time and see what it looks like. I don't know. The only good thing about it is they got the clips on here that it just clips on, and it just stays there. You know? So how it look like, I don't know. We'll try step by step. Well, we've taken that little corner off. We've taken all that off. See what it looks like. Yeah, got the covers on now. I've cut them back. I don't know, I'm just sort of getting used to them. If I like it this way, or I'll make them custom. You know, will I make these fuses as a template and make them metal and flat and all the way around and cut all that out. I could use these as a template, and but they look alright. Looks like a big Hemi rocker cover. Yeah, I've changed my booster to 8-inch. I'll give you a closer look at that, and boy is it close. It's different. It sure is looking different. And there's my booster there, as you could see. I'll zoom down to that booster, and you can see how close it is, right up to the side of the ram there. That's the best we can do, get it up there, and I'll try to get it up a little bit closer there to give you a better idea what I mean. Yeah, there it is there. Right up in there, it's really close. There's probably about, I don't know, probably 2 mil, and over here I can't get my finger between there. So that's the 8-inch. I had to reroute this fuel line because it was going through the bracket. If you notice, the the other video I had. It was going through, it was no good, it wasn't safe. So I rerouted all the vacuum line and made up new fittings. It's all good. Yeah, like I said, I did bite the bullet, and it did fit the 8-inch master cylinder, booster, 8-inch booster, and the master cylinder, I end up buying a 1-inch bore master cylinder. Being brand new, I hope it doesn't leak, and I'm going to bench bleed it. I've got a couple of lines here I've made up that I've had brake lines. I'm just going to put a bit of a rubber hose there so I could see the fluid going through in the so there's air bubbles are not going to be coming through. I'll just pour a little bit, fill them up, brake fluid, let it gravity feed, and yeah, so that's and the other thing was, I noticed in the brand new master cylinder, 1-inch one I bought from Summit, it didn't come with a tool. Somebody's taken it out of the box. Lucky I still had this tool from the last master cylinder I had, which is I've still got, which is a 1 1/8, and it's a small Allen key. It fits right in here, and it goes right in the guts, and you turn it for pressures, and the big one does the outside one. That gives you the different pressures on the rear drums. Now, if you've got drums, you could stop it from locking, and you ease it into it, so you got more pressure on the front disc. But I've got 4-wheel disc brakes, so it ain't going to be too much. I'll just put them on, adjust it a bit, and it should be right, as long as I get more pressure on the front, and that's my main task. But I'll be bleeding it on the bench, and then I'll be installing it on the car. Yeah, I got my wife Amy to pick up the rubber hoses. She went to Super Cheap for me. She was a good girl for that. Yeah, and I'm ready to bleed. Just get the screwdriver and just put it behind there and just start pushing. And as you can see, the fluid is going in and out, and it's sucked all the air out of it. It's just rotating around all the time, and it's working out pretty good. Bled really fast, and I thought it was, I had trouble with the other one originally, I remember. This is good. It's worked out really good, and that's how you bench bleed a master cylinder. Okay, my CPP 1-inch 4 master cylinders in, 8-inch booster is in. I've painted all the back up in here, painted all the cover I put on and bracketry. All your covers have been modified. I'm still getting the grips about that, if I'm going to customise them and make other ones. But for now, I've completed them, and I'll just go across here, show you more of the way it looks, and it looks neat. It looks quite neat now, and so there's a lot of work involved just to put those covers on, but now I've got some spare boosters, master cylinders, like over in the bench here. I've got a 1 1/8 master cylinder, 7-inch booster, brand new. Just put it on and took it off, but it fit nice. That one's really close, and I've got another 8-inch, the original one. So I'll be probably trying to sell them. All the best. So I hope you enjoyed that episode of installation of the rocker covers with the coil packs underneath them. They look great. They just look authentic. There's a lot of modification because of my chassis and the way the engine sits. So in the end, I'm just going to do a bit of cleaning up on the covers of the fuel rail. I'm going to make them up, and you'll see them how they turn up. Hopefully, it looks nice. And there's me 69 Camaro. Just parked it under the hoist. Might do some work on it down the track, but it's another one of my collection that I love it so much. It's a really nice car, that one. And so signing off is the Chevy Man again. If you like it, please tick like. If you want to comment, subscribe by any other episodes that are interesting that you might be interested in, and keep safe. That's the main thing.